So here's a perfect example of the saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And also, P.S. This guy needs to divorce his wife yesterday. Titled, Wife demanded not to be SCX-ualized. Now surprised I don't see her that way at all. And a shout out to Xavier for sending me the story. Now listen to this nonsense. This guy says, my wife and I have been together for 14 years, married for 9. We've rarely been on the same page about SCX. I've gotten over it for the most part. Sometimes it stings. But it is what it is, and I value her as a partner and friend above anything more. I'm not exactly proficient at reading a mood. So I'm just going to say this from the get-go. I think this guy is somewhere on the spectrum. Therefore, social things and reading people and all that is very difficult to him. What seems like a good opportunity to try and initiate SCX sometimes ends up not being one, and vice versa. He says, I had this problem in other areas of my life too, honestly, so I know it's on me. Outside the bedroom, I like to think I'm a good partner. I work hard, I pay most of our bills, we go on dates, vacations, and spend time together. I know it's cliche to go everything is perfect except the SCX, but it's true in this case. Sounds to me like this girl married a guy who was a provider, nothing more. End of story. But she knew what this guy's like. He's obviously on the spectrum, and he didn't say it, but we can connect the dots. About 2 years ago, I, once again, did not read the mood right. We had a great weekend together. We got in, and she went for the shower. I was unpacking and stood there watching her change for a few seconds, which has never been a problem, and made a comment about how unpacking and laundry can wait an hour or two. I didn't grab her or touch her or anything like that, because I know she didn't like that. But she snapped at me and went on how about I always stare at her and how women aren't sex objects, things like that. You're a married couple. And guess what? If there's no problem with a guy checking out his wife or girlfriend, anything like that, especially his wife. You're married. There are certain things in marriages that kind of, should go hand in hand. That the husband can take care of her and she can take care of him. You get the point. Now, of course, nothing should be forced. Let me make this abundantly clear. Nobody should do things they don't want to. But a man has needs, and if it's his wife, there's nothing wrong with him seeing her in that way, because guess what? That's how it goes. She did apologize for snapping, but more or less said that I should not sexualize her anymore. If she wants sex, she'll let me know. Otherwise, put it out of my mind. That hurt to hear, but I accepted it. Smack! As I expected, we've had SCX maybe 10 times in the last 2 years. Yeah, that's it. Now, maybe you married guys who have been married for a while are like, ha ha ha, that's normal. Well, I don't hear anything about kids being around, getting in the way of walking in on mom and dad having sex. It sounds like it's just the two of them. So, he's checking her out. He's the bad guy. He doesn't, when she's in the mood, he doesn't pick up on these certain cues. He's the bad guy. No matter what, he's the bad guy in her eyes. Yeah, I think she's settled because he said he pays most of the bills and takes care of most of the things. Yeah, this is not a good situation. But listen to this. So, at the beginning of the year, our relationship felt like it was going off the rails. Combination of the issues, mismatched work schedules, and stress. About 3 months ago, I gave my wife an ultimatum and said I wanted to prioritize getting our marriage back on track or just call it a quits and move on. Oh, how about that? She agreed to trying fixing it, and we've been doing couples therapy weekly. It's really helped, and things have been great since. Well, here's the thing. People can do couples therapy and all that as much as they want, but at the end of the day, no amount of couples therapy is going to make two people love each other or want each other or be attracted to each other. If there's still something there and the therapy can actually, if it can help, because there's some cases it does, great. But if it's gone, it's gone. 2 nights ago, she was walking around the house naked. Nothing new. She'll go from room to room without a shirt on or just a shirt. But she was making more of an effort to stretch or bend over or just get into my field of vision. So in other words, she's realized, I better start doing my part here, taking care of my guy here, otherwise he's out of here, and my meal ticket isn't what it normally is. I was working from home at the time, so I didn't really make a comment or anything, which again is exactly what she wanted. You all heard that she said, I don't want you sexualizing me and looking at me in that way like some kind of object. So he's like, okay. So she's walking around, flaunting her goods, and he's like, whatever. She ended up breaking down about how I declined her advances or don't try to have SCX anymore. Wait a second, we all heard her chastise him and snap at him about doing just that before. Now she's breaking down, having a meltdown because he's not trying to initiate. This guy can't win. I reminded her that's exactly what she asked for. She didn't want me to see her in that way or sexualize her, and after over 2 years of doing exactly that, I don't. I don't see her naked body as something that turns me on anymore, and then I see my own body as something that way. I opened up about this in therapy, and it ended with her cutting the session short and leaving. I feel like I can't win here. I could really use some advice. Here's some advice. It ain't working. Okay? You can't win. No matter what, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Now, true, this guy, and there are a lot of guys out there that if they're on the spectrum, if you will, where they don't quite pick up on social things, or just simply they don't have enough experience, yeah, good luck. There's no making her happy. But there's the old joke that no matter what you do, a guy can't make a woman happy. There's always something she's pissed off or miserable or complaining about. And you live long enough, you're going to know this. I know some of the older guys here that have been around the block are laughing now because you know what I'm talking about. Yes, I've been there too, gentlemen. No matter what you do. But anyhow, to this, he can't win. And there's a point that it sounds like there's nothing left. It sounds like she is not in love with him at all. Because think about it. If he's on the spectrum, has some social issues, hard time reading people and social dynamics, basically he's like a Sheldon Cooper. She knew that getting into this relationship. She knew this when she said, I do. Death to you apart, all that. But obviously she's benefiting from what he can bring to the relationship. Obviously, money and resources. So if I'm this guy, I would say, you know what? If she's storming out of therapy, she's making it difficult, it's time to, call it quits. Talk to a lawyer, find out your options, and walk away. But again, going back to the whole play stupid games, win stupid prizes, she told him, she snapped at him. And by the way, a man is allowed to look at his wife. If she's looking good butt naked in the shower or gallivanting around the house half naked, yeah, he's allowed to admire that. And if believe me, guys, if your wife is snapping at you because you're checking her out or want to have relations, you want to hook up, that'll tell you everything. And not to mention the fact that probably she's getting someplace else. So you're not the a-hole, but it's time to talk to a lawyer. Now, a few comments here before I wrap this up. One guy says here, your wife needs therapy. She's got issues. This therapy needs to be separate from couples therapy with a different therapist. She does need help. Humans are sexual creatures, and finding your partner sexually appealing is going to be a requirement for most healthy relationships. The only exceptions are people that identify as asexual, which 99% of the people are not. Your wife's got some hang-ups. It could be due to propaganda or just overly religious upbringing, but she needs to work through them. If she's unwilling, then I recommend you leave the marriage and find someone who wants you in all aspects of the relationship. Well, it's funny when he pretty much gave her the ultimatum, either we work on things or I'm out of here, and all of a sudden she's prancing around the house, half naked and stretching in front of him and showing her goods. But again, a guy who probably takes things very literally was like, well, he told me not to look at you. He told me not to approach you. Another guy says here, it's unfair for one partner to dictate when you have the SCX. It's a marriage. Sometimes one partner may not be in the mood, but at least in my mind, should be willing to help satisfy their partner. You respectfully did what she asked, and now she's flipping this on you. Respectively, if this gets any worse in couples therapy, I would say divorce may be the best option. There's nothing left. I don't think she ever loved the guy. I think she just married him for his resources. End of fucking story here. It's all about actions, guys. Pay attention to people's actions. In this situation, his wife or the woman. But in general, always pay attention to people's actions. Words are one thing, but actions are everything. And one more, this guy says, you should have ended in the moment she scolded you for wanting to have SCX with her. In a healthy relationship, both partners want to have the SCX with each other. One partner is telling the other they need to repress their sexuality is abusive. Don't waste any more time in this relationship. Again, nobody should be forced to do anything they don't want to do. Let me make that clear. But in a healthy relationship, the physical activity continue on. There's nothing wrong with her wanting it. There's nothing wrong with him wanting it with each other, of course. But this type of thing, yeah, it's a problem. So guys, there you go. You find yourself in this situation, maybe it's time to look elsewhere.